All right, golf addicts, great interview today with Ben Griffin. Let me tell you, this guy is destined to be a stud, and he is a name you want to know early in the new PGA Tour season. He's a Korn Ferry Tour graduate, starting his rookie season on the PGA Tour here very soon, if not already, by the time you're getting this video. Ben has been beating guys like Scotty Scheffler, Cam Young, Colin Morikawa since he was a junior. Okay, and just gets off in his very first full season of the Korn Ferry Tour, gets off and gets his tour card like that. Just finished fourth at the Wyndham Championship on a sponsor's invite. This kid could be the next big thing coming out of the Korn Ferry Tour, and he was absolutely electric to talk to. We talked about his doing DJ stuff. He loves music, EDM. We had a great EDM DJing conversation. It was funny. He's now the course record holder at Sea Island's Plantation Course after shooting a 59 this summer and holing out from 155 yards in the fairway. And we've got video of it. You've probably already seen it. He told a great story about falling into the pond along with his caddy at the Puerto Rico event this past year on the PGA Tour. And just all around great, too. Talks about his game, talks about what he'd have to do to get his first victory on the PGA Tour. You are going to want to know Ben Griffin. I promise you that. It's a great interview. And if you enjoyed the interview at some point, please consider giving this video a like, a thumbs up, comment your favorite part of the video, share the video with a friend, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We would greatly appreciate it. We're delivering a ton more of these as the season goes on. We go live all the time without announcing it to anybody. So if you're subscribing, you'll get notified as soon as that happens. But for now, let's get to our interview with Ben Griffin. All right, golf addicts, DB here. I got my boy Ben Griffin. He's a Korn Ferry Tour graduate. He's going to be a PGA Tour rookie. Although he's had some starts on the tour, you probably saw him at the Wyndham a few weeks ago. We'll talk about that in a second. First off, Ben, thanks for coming on the show, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate you having me. Happy to hop on.
All right, so we're going to get to golf later, but reading about you, apparently you've got like a little part of you that wants to be a DJ. And what we've read is you're kind of this EDM guy. You said your walk-up music would be Diplo. I also enjoy a little bit of EDM. Now, my boy Pat, he's older than me. He calls it unce unce music because it just goes unce unce unce. So he doesn't really like it. He's kind of old and dusty. So talk to us, man. Like what you did you try to get into the DJ world or what's going on with that?
Yeah, I consider myself retired at this point in my career. But no, I've definitely messed around a bunch with music. It's probably nice for you to have like a fresh kid on here that actually knows EDM a little bit
Yes.
compared to who you've been working with. So you're welcome for that. But
He's
no,
already
yeah,
taking shots at Pat the first minute. This is going great.
yeah, it's going very well. But no, back in college, so one of my buddies on the basketball team, KJ Smith, Kenny the Jet's son, he
Nice.
had these like travel turntables. He was kind of into music at one point, and he kind of got his way out of it, but wanted to learn golf. So we made an exchange. I gave him a set of clubs. He gave me the turntables, and our career paths took different ways. He went into the golf. No, I mean he's still playing basketball, and he's like interviewing people and stuff with ACC Network. But no,
Nice.
I started messing around with music kind of senior year. I also had another buddy who was on the basketball team, Shea Rush. He's like really into DJing now. He's like up in Chicago performing at nightclubs, and he's friends with like John Summit and all these other names that most viewers here probably have never even heard of. But no, I got into music. Pretty much, I've always been into music. I just started DJing a little bit senior year of college. Started small at like parties, and then worked my way into fraternity scene a little bit. And
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it was fun just mixing around. I mean, you've probably heard of Two Friends. They do those big booty mixes. I
Yeah.
like to kind of try to mash up songs too and work on transitions and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm a big EDM guy. But I also play all sorts of music, especially at parties, whatever kind of the environment was like. I try to adapt my music to it. And so, yeah, that's pretty much my DJ career in a nutshell. But I remember traveling up on the Canadian tour, and I brought those the travel turntables with me because pretty much I'd get done with a round and I'd be like, well, I don't really feel like going and socializing or doing anything like that. I kind of want to chill in my room, but it gave me something to do. And I traveled the entire circuit with those. And then by the fall, when I went back to Chapel Hill, I went and did a couple parties and stuff. It was
That's
it was
awesome.
it was a fun hobby, but I guess it was a part of me that I graduated college and I was like, I want to still be in college, so I'm going to DJ.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, you could turn up to be like You could do some DJing gigs for the tour on the side. I'm sure they would probably use you for some of the pro-am parties or something like that. That could be good.
Yeah, I
So
can't tell you how many, like, players and, like, rules officials, random people are like, "Yeah, I'm getting married. I need a DJ. Are you available?" I'm like, "Nah,
mm,
I don't know. I don't know
not
if I can come back into that career."
Yeah, and I mean, like, wedding DJ and doing what you're talking about doing, maybe 2 different things to some extent. I love being like I love being like the playlist guy. I love going to a party and everybody looking at me and going like, "Hey, you're in charge of the music," because I love building a solid playlist and just, playing bangers. When you're on the golf course, like, playing casually with your friends, which we're gonna talk about that here in a second too, are you playing are you that guy too? Are you notorious for having the best sounds?
Yeah, you could probably ask JT Poston. He used to, like, stalk my playlists. He probably still
JT's
does, I
our
don't
boy.
know, but he'd always ask me about new tunes and stuff that I found. But
So
yeah,
do you
no, I
have some
like.
public playlists, like, on Apple or Spotify?
Yeah, I've got some on Spotify. I haven't been, like, as up to date as I wish. As of really this week, though, I've actually dove back in a little bit with it being an off week and tried to find some new music and try to make some new playlists. I made one for my trainer to try to get some tunes, and we're in there doing some work in
Nice.
the gym. But no, it's a fun hobby. I'm just like you. I love being the guy in charge of music. It's
Yeah.
fun, but I'm not going to get in the way of someone else because I feel like there's such a fine line with being the guy who's in charge of music. So many people take it personal, and like you go to a certain party and one guy is like, "Oh no, I have to play this song." Like, and I don't like
Yeah.
to interfere with that, but no, I'm right there with you. I love music and always listen to it on the course when I'm playing for fun.
Alright, so when we're done with this, I'm gonna have to have you send me the link to your Spotify playlist. We'll share those out there. We'll get
I
you some
gotcha.
more followers on that. Um, I'll end on this, like, I'm a couple of my favorites, and maybe these are, like, 2 mainstream folks, but I'm a huge Becky Hill fan. I love Becky Hill, and I love, Joel Corey, and they just did a little collaboration, so that's really good. You
Dude,
like
it's
you like
funny.
Becky Hill?
It's so funny you mentioned that. There's a 10-minute Becky Hill mix mashup on YouTube, and it is the greatest 10 minutes
Ah,
of music. Me and one of my buddies here on the island, Peter Nade, he's a mini tour guy. He's working his way up the system right now. He showed it to me, and I'm like, I've listened to it probably 3 times in the last 3 days. I'll send it to you after.
yeah, send that to me. What do you mean on the island? Where are you at?
St. Simon's Island, Georgia, Sea
Are you a
Island.
Sea Island Mafia guy?
Dude, I am on the mafia. Yeah, a lot of people don't.
Man.
I was watching like something on Golf Channel the other day, and they were talking about Sea Island guys from the Corn Ferry that have moved on, and I don't think they knew I lived here, but yeah, I'm full time down here. I lived in Chapel Hill for like a year between when I kind of before I quit golf, which I'm sure we'll get into, and then about 3 months ago I moved back. So
Yeah,
full.
we just talked to our boy Grayson Sig. We just dropped his interview the other day. JT Poston's a friend of the show. He's a good guy. Fleener's a big buddy of ours.
Love
A
it.
lot of guys down there at Sea Island. So you're part of the Sea Island Mafia. That's good to know though. Like, for us degenerate golf gamblers, fantasy guys, like we like to know who the Sea Island Mafia crew is. So that's good. It's a good
Yeah.
spot down there. We'll be at the RSM later this year, so we'll probably meet up there. Um, yeah, so obviously you've got this story out there about you kinda, like, hanging it up, doing, like, a little bit of, was it, like, mortgage lending or mortgage real
Mhm.
estate something? I mean, you don't have to go
And
too
we're
deep into
blended.
it 'cause I'm sure you're probably sick of talking about it and you're gonna get asked about it even more, but, it is interesting that, our friend Ryan at, Monday Qualifier Info did a couple things about you back in the day or a couple of days ago, months ago, quitting golf, kinda like what happened with that? And then all of a sudden, here you are a year later earning your tour card.
Yeah, I mean, it's been I've talked about this on like almost every podcast, so like my sponsors are getting tired of it, but no, they don't really care. But yeah, no, I quit golf in like March of 2021. I was just mentally burnt out a little bit. Was 15K in credit card debt, just wasn't going anywhere. And it's tough because when you play golf in high school, college, you're like you don't even think about money because you're never playing for money. All you're thinking about is trying to be the best you can and beat the guys
Yeah,
you're playing against and try to win an event for your team or whatever it be.
yeah,
And so when you turn pro, all of a sudden it's like, yes, it's a game. Yes, it's a game I love, but it's also my job. So it turns into like, yes, it's basically a lifestyle, but also it's my occupation. So I'm pretty much traveling, and like every time I travel, I'm having to cover all these expenses, and I mean, it's hard at the mini tour level, Corn Ferry Tour level even. And
Yep.
so I quit and was like, I don't want to rely on my parents for anything. I want to make money. I want to pay my own rent. I want to pay my own insurance. I want to do everything on my own. And so I pretty much went into mortgage lending. I went into real estate at first. My dad's owns a real estate company in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I started with him. It's a pretty small business, and he was having some trouble with some people that were working for him. They were leaving the office, and so I stepped in for a little bit, tried to help him out. As I was doing that, interviewed and became a mortgage lender for Corporate Investors Mortgage Group, North Carolina. I worked on the Robbie Oaks mortgage team and basically did that for 3 months. Had some weird signs come into my life. I accidentally drove to the golf course wearing a button down and a jacket, like all my work clothes, and like was like pulling in the parking lot, and I like looked at myself and I'm like, this is not right. What am I doing? I don't know if it was lack of energy or what, but I took it as a sign that I need to play golf. My grandpa passed away, he got me into golf, and all that kind of happened at the same time. So I had a sponsor, this company right here, Lord Abbott. He funded all my my comeback into golf, and so I credit him to all my success to this day. But he talked to him on the phone. He was like, let's get after it. I know I've heard a lot of good things about you. I'd played golf with him a year prior, but we share the same trainer, Randy Myers, and Randy was talking me up to him, and he's like, I got to sponsor you. We're going to create a story.
Wow.
And so sure enough, 1 year later, we've created a pretty damn cool story, and continuing to script it now.
Yeah, you really have. I mean, who is Lord Abbott? Sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest logos in my opinion. But it's a financial management group. They do all sorts of financial services, mutual funds, bonds, basically for high net worth investors or whoever it might be. But they manage a bunch of money, and the CEO, I played golf with him, and he wanted to use his firm to help me
Yep.
grow and be one of the best players in the world. And so I appreciate all of the things he's done for me. It's been really cool.
Well, no free ads on the Tour Junkies podcast, but we'll let that one slide. I did ask. Seems like a cool guy and an interesting company to do that. And yeah, it's definitely paid off for you. I mean, but I mean, man, it's crazy to think like, I mean, I think this is right. Didn't you win a couple of individual state titles in high school? You were a studied, junior player. Um, Great career at North Carolina. Like it seems like you really clicked at every level that you were playing, and then decide to hang it up, and then and then obviously you telling the story how you got back in it. So it's really cool to see, and then you come out on the Corn Ferry Tour this past season, and I mean I know you didn't have any Corn Ferry Tour victories, but you had like 3 runner ups, you had a bunch of top 25s, you had a bunch of top 10s. You looked like you look pretty comfortable out there. So does it feel like it's all happened like way too fast as you approach this first? And obviously we've talked about. I teased it in the beginning. You played a couple PGA Tour events, just finished 4th at the Wyndham.
Hmm.
Um, but do you feel like you're ready, or you know what I mean? Like to go
Yeah,
from where you were to where you are now. How does it feel right now? Like as you're getting ready to tee it up for a full season?
yeah, I'm very ready. If you look at the PGA Tour today, majority of the guys that are top 10, top 20 in the world are guys I competed against in high school, college. And so I knew where my game stacked up against them. I had a lot of success, fortunately back in junior golf and college a little bit. I kind of went through some ups and downs kind of in college and then also in professional golf when I first started. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm ready. Having that perspective from working and coming back into golf makes you appreciate it that much more and appreciate the competition, appreciate the grind. I
Yeah.
think we're hearing a lot about that in the golf world nowadays, about people talking about the grind and how it might be too much. For me, I have that perspective where I know what I was doing in an office space, not even being outside. And so I appreciate just being outside a lot more, let alone waking up and trying to get after it and grind. So for me, I'm very ready. The Wyndham kind of proved that a little bit to the world. I knew I had it in me. I was trying to win the thing. I just ran out of holes. But it's gonna be fun going to the PGA Tour. Guys like Colin Morikawa, Scotty Scheffler. These are some of my friends who I've continued to be friends with. I still talk to all of them, and I feel more than ready to kind of get up there with them and be in contention with them down the stretch, because it's something I've done in junior golf and in college golf, and there's no difference with doing it at the
Yeah.
PGA Tour level. It's just there's a lot more spotlight.
So talk about your game. Familiarize our listeners, our viewers with Ben Griffin's game from a standpoint of like, what do you feel like you really, really do well, and you see it could translate very well on the PGA Tour versus the spots where you're really you're going to have to improve a little bit to contend out there some more, and just kind of familiarize us with the golf game.
Yeah, I have a unique game. I'd say the strongest part of my game is just how confident I am in my ability. It's whether I'm hitting it really well or not. I'm always coming to the first tee confident in whatever swing I kind of have that day, and really work through it. You look at my swing, you might look at stats or whatever, and nothing really stands out significantly. Probably putting.
Yeah.
Is the one that I'm really good at, and that's why I was so pumped to get the start at the Wyndham. Those are the best greens that you kind of see on tour, and I knew with my putting, like if I got it on the green, I was gonna make a lot of putts and get my name up there. So I'd say putting's definitely a strength. Short game grinding, getting up and down. When I'm hitting it really well, I normally play very well, especially on the PGA Tour level when the greens are going to be really good every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hit it sneaky far. If you go back to the Mexico Open, you can't really find it, but I was probably second in distance after the first two rounds, even though I missed the cut. I think the stats by the end of the week, they do it based on who made the cut. So no one would really know how far I was hitting it, but I was hitting it pretty
Mm,
far for kind of a skinnier guy. I can get ball speed up to low 180s consistently. So
nice.
hitting it far, sneaky, and then just kind of getting it in the hole. I'd say that's kind of my strength. And I go through spells where I'm hitting it really well, or maybe struggling, but when I'm hitting it really well, that confidence, even though it's always pretty high, it gets even higher. And I'll tell you, at the Wyndham on Monday, I was really struggling with my swing, and I made a couple like minor little adjustments with my grip, with my right hand grip on Tuesday, and I didn't even play that great on Tuesday, but Wednesday on the range, it was prime day. I wasn't in it because I'm not on the FedEx Cup, or wasn't this past year as a non-member, and so I just hit some balls in the range and then went to the tournament, and kind of I was steady the first couple of days, but then everything I went balls to the wall on the weekend and made a charge. But I kind of saw it coming, so it's weird. My game goes through highs and lows, but anything can change really fast for me.
Well, it is something I noticed when I was just looking at your how you statted out on the Corn Ferry Tour. It's like there wasn't a whole lot of like super flashy stuff other than the putting, but yet your birdie or better percentage, you were like 18th on the Corn Ferry Tour in birdie or better percentage, which is going to lead me to something else here. In a second, we're going to talk about. So obviously, you can't get it in the hole, right? And when things are clicking, you can go pretty low. Do you have a swing coach? Who's your swing coach?
Yeah, James O. He's based
Oh
out of
yeah.
Los Angeles. Pretty big name. He played on the PGA Tour, and he's been coaching for like the last 12 years. But I've been working with him for probably two or 3 years now.
And he's more so a short. I thought he was like really a short game guy, right?
Yeah, he is. I use him for short game, but we work a lot on my long game. We kind of have similarities between our games, so it's fun to kind of talk to him about all our different feels that we have.
Yeah. What are the like as you look ahead to, and you can kind of look back and say just in general what are the courses, but also as you look ahead to the PGA Tour schedule, and I'm sure you're quite familiar with the events you're probably planning to play this fall, especially, but even into next spring and summer, like what are the types of golf courses you feel like really suit your game the most, and what are those golf courses where you kind of look at it and go like, hey, it's not that I couldn't play well here. Obviously, like you just talked about your confidence. You can get it done anywhere, but it's like we all know there's certain courses where you just go like, ugh, I'm gonna have to like really do something different to contend there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the courses are going to be pretty fresh to me. Looking at the schedule a little bit and looking back on kind of where I've played well in the past. I mean, the RSM sticks out to me. It's my own course. I have the course record on the Plantation course. I shot a 59 there this summer. So I'm very comfortable
Oh,
there.
you beat me to it. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in a sec.
Yeah. But like even the Wyndham, it's a tighter course. I'm not necessarily the straightest, but I'm not afraid to hit driver often. And even in
Yeah.
tight spots, even though I don't hit it straighter. And because of that, when I'm hitting it great, I take advantage of some of those drives. I remember like the ninth hole at Wyndham, I played it 200 par and probably should have played it 400. I missed a couple short birdie putts, two of the rounds, but I hit driver on that hole, and no one else in the field was really hitting driver. I never saw anyone hit a driver there, and I had lob wedge or sand wedge in that green every day, and everyone else was having 8 or 9s. So
Mm.
I'm not afraid to overpower a course a little bit. It might not be the straightest, but I'd say courses where even if the rough's long, like it doesn't bother me that much as long as it's not impossible to get on the greens. It
Yeah.
just depends on course condition and course setup a lot. But going through the year into the spring, I played the Puerto Rico Open before on the PGA Tour.
I just played that golf course twice, like 2 weeks ago. All right, we're gonna get right back to this fantastic show in just a second, but we have known a guy who's made a ton of money in a little bit of a business, okay, that he started years ago, over 6, 7 years ago, called Smart Scalpers. Our friend Kevin started this company. He's franchised it now to over 16 others. And basically, you can be your own guy. You can be your own girl. It can be a side hustle, a part-time job, a full-time job, selling tickets. You buy and sell tickets with a sophisticated and intelligent software that does it all for you, all driven over the internet, no face-to-face, no standing out on street corners, none of that. He franchised this model back in 2019. It's exploded. A lot of the franchisees and the brokers do the side hustle, and they're making more than even their full-time job. There's no strings attached. You can get out anytime you want, and they provide the training, they provide the support staff, and they train you weekly to help you grow. So you can check out smartscalpers.com. The best thing to do is to call the number or text the number you see here on the screen, 706 755 5974, and tell them the Tour Junkies sent you. They're going to hook you up with some training. Again, it's something you could do on the side. You can do it for as little or as much as you want to do, but it's helping to broker tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater performances, whatever you do. Okay. If you want to go see a comedy show, if you want to see a woman sing opera, or you want to go see a baseball man or a basketball man, or maybe you want to go to the WNBA. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to do anything with tickets, if you want to make a little extra money or possibly turn something like this, work from home, into your full-time gig, check it out. Text them, call them, 706 755 5974. I've personally known Kevin for over 20 years. He's a great dude. He's trustworthy, does a lot of work with the Masters. He's a great person, and his team is fantastic. They'll set you up, they'll train you. Check it out. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah, it's a good course. I made the cut there in my second PGA Tour when I played there, so that was at the time an accomplishment for me. So that's a course I'm comfortable on. I mean, Quail Hollow I've played a bunch. Leading into the summer, trying to think of some others, but I don't know if there's actually a golf course that necessarily fits my game. I'd say the longer the course, the less of an advantage I have because even though I hit it long, everyone else is hitting driver, so it comes down to the iron play, and I'd say I'm an average iron player. That's a game. That's a part of my game I've been trying to improve. But at times it's good. So it's like
Yeah.
I mean I don't know. Golf's such
Let's
a
talk.
funky
Yeah.
sport, and I'm just a strategic golfer. I'm always playing strategy with myself, and some guys will use like decade golf. I don't really use anything. I just kind of use my brain. I think it's one of my strengths. So
Yep.
looking forward to the season. I don't know where I'm going to play well, but hopefully next week in Napa, I'll just go ahead and
Just go
knock it
ahead and
out.
seal it up.
Good. Yeah.
What about like putting you being a really good putter? What about putting surfaces? So that's something that obviously we look at, like POA, Bent, Bermuda being the primary three. I would imagine North Carolina boy, Sea Island Mafia boy, probably quite comfy on Bermuda, pretty comfy on Bent, probably not so comfy on POA. That's my guess. What do you say?
You answered it.
Okay, yeah. Um,
No, yeah, I grew up on Bent, and so I'm comfortable there. A lot of courses nowadays up the southeast are all Bermuda.
yep.
I'm comfortable there. I've had success in Florida and definitely Georgia and the southeast, and then yeah, California. Poana is something I'm not really necessarily used to, so we'll see how that goes. But you know, if I start seeing the ball go in, it doesn't matter the surface. I get confident and I just keep rolling with it.
Yeah. Who's your tell us about your caddy. We love caddies on this show. So tell me about your caddy, how that
Yeah,
whole relationship started, how that's gonna go.
I've had a few caddies this year, but Alex Rithamel has been my caddy since let's see, Chicago on the Corn Ferry Tour. So back in May,
Okay.
he's going to be with me throughout the fall, and he caddied for CT Pan when he won the RBC Heritage. He's caddied for Adam Svensson. He caddied for him for a couple years. More recently, he was caddying for Curtis Thompson on the PGA Tour, and so he's been around for a while. I think he's been caddying on tour for 10 years. So he's a great guy. We're comfortable with each other. He knows my game now, so we're going to be kind of going into the season very comfortably compared to maybe some other Corn Ferry guys that are going through the process right now of trying to figure out who they want on the bag. So I kind of
It's
I
good.
was I was fortunate to have almost locked up my card after 5 events this year. Once I finished back-to-back second places and
Yeah.
Utah and Florida, so I was trying to game plan for the PGA Tour, and that's kind of the last 5 or 6 weeks. I haven't necessarily played that well other than the Wyndham, but it's because I've been trying to figure out what I want to do and game plan how I'm going to play really well once Napa starts. That's kind of always been my plan, and having him be on the back for me for 10 weeks now, 15 weeks, maybe even almost. We're going to go uncomfortable, and so that'll help.
It's good. What about I know you guys hate answering the questions like this. So other than you, clearly you're confident, right? Clearly you've got the chops to get this done. Other than you though, like I saw from the outside looking in, like last year, this time of year, nobody was really paying much attention, at least on the outside, to like a Cameron Young, right? Or one of these breakout guys who just has an exceptional year coming out of the Corn Ferry Tour. Um, but I know a lot of other Korn Ferry Tour players would say, "Oh, we knew who Cameron Young was and how that was gonna go down." But other than yourself, like, when you look at the Korn Ferry Tour graduates coming out this year, who are a couple names that maybe you feel like maybe people are talking about, maybe aren't talking about, but you look at and go like, "Hey, those guys, like, I'm gonna be contending with those guys for, like, rookie of the year potential, and, like, those guys are sneaky, could be really good out here."
Yeah. Well, going back to Cameron Young, I've known Cameron since we were 15 or 16. We've been good friends, and I mean, I knew it was coming all along. I could have told you Davis Riley was going to do this all along.
Yeah,
Scotty Scheffler, same thing. But yeah, I mean, in this graduation class, there's definitely some names that a lot of people don't know. I mean, a lot of people know Justin Suck because he's played a
yep,
bunch of tour events out of college, and he was kind of thrown under the bus a little bit because Matt Wolff and Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland were taking off, and he was kind of making a cut here and there, but just wasn't doing the same thing. So everyone's like, "Oh, is this kid even good?"
yeah,
Yeah, he's good. He beat
yeah,
me in the junior when I was 16, and he was 15, and he kicked. I mean, he beat me bad. And I played with him a couple weeks ago. Let's see, in Omaha, the final Korn Ferry event of the year, and his game was very impressive to me just because I never thought he was going to make a single mistake. It was like if he makes a bogey, it's like fluky.
yeah.
Um, and he's going to be a consistent player. I can just go ahead and tell you that without a
Yeah.
doubt.
He seems
Watching
to be
that game.
trending in the starts that he's gotten on tour. He's definitely trending a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I need to look at a list probably on my phone to see everyone's name. But there's going to be a few
Yeah,
guys on there for sure that are gonna play really well. I mean, you have some former guys that have played well in the past. You got Ben Ann, who's a former
yeah,
president who's getting his way back to the PGA Tour. It'll be interesting to see how he plays.
yeah,
Moving up the list, I mean, Carl Jan, he's got a ton of talent. I think we have a little bit similar games, and the fact that we kind of he hits it longer than me, but he's a grinder. He'll make it from anywhere on a green. So he'll be an interesting name to follow. But yeah, I think there's 30 out of the 50 guys that got cards between Corn Ferry and Corn Ferry Tour Finals. 31 are rookies. So there's going
yep,
to be a lot of new names this year on the tour that might surprise people, especially with having a lot of bigger names leave for live.
yep,
It's going to be an opportunity for a lot of us to jump into those positions where there's a lot of openings for big names to kind of pop in. There's a reason you see Sepp Straka now become one of those names just because of how he played in the playoffs, and he took advantage of some certain players. Maybe he would have done it anyways, but some certain players leaving, and it opened up the door for him. So I'm motivated to do something similar to that. That's for sure.
yeah. You guys got a lot of good opportunity coming up here. I want to talk about this 59. I'm going to play the video here. Hopefully this works because if people haven't seen this, it's pretty funny. Let's see if I
Yeah.
can make this happen. All right, here we go.
So far, so good. Yeah. Be prepared for the voice.
Please go in.
All I'm just up to 10 right now.
Love it, love it. So that you had to make that. You had to make that to shoot 59. That was on the plantation course at Sea Island. Is that right?
Yeah, that was the ninth hole. We started on 10 that day. They started everyone on the back. So that was number 9. And yeah,
How
it
how
was
far out were you?
155 yards. And it was like falling just left of it. And I was like, I mean, I was in this ball because I knew I needed to make it. And I was like, just get right somehow. And like kind of at the end, it fell down and a little right. I don't know if it was like a little bit of wind or whatever, and then bounced a little right into the middle of the hole. It was pretty surreal. It was one of you can't even describe the feeling. I mean, if I had a whoop, my heart rate would have been like in a scary spot for about 2 weeks because
Yeah.
I woke up every morning and I just thought about like I think I was dreaming about the shot too. I woke up every morning. I was like, dang, I made it from 155 yards. And I had one of my buddies here. He's a private chef, Tony Aloy. I texted him for a month, and every day we would mention it, like something like 55 yards. Just say the word 155 yards, just to, like talk about it. But no, that a lot of people are like, was that your girlfriend like screaming? Like, no, it was a third golfer, Harrison Shee. Oh God, he got so much crap for that, and it's still amazing to this day, hearing all the crap for him
That's
screaming like
hilarious.
that. But it was cool. I'm just fortunate it was on video. I told the guys before I hit it, I was like, all right, get the cameras out, and I didn't know. I figured all of them were filming, and it was just Harrison. And thank God he had it because otherwise it would have
Yeah.
been a cool story. But to have that reaction on film, it's not clear enough because it was on Snapchat to see it go in. But to have it on film is sick.
Dude, it's incredible. So what was like I mean, did you party after that? What was the celebration like? How does that work? You run into the golf shop and you, like, throw the scorecard in the guy's face? How does this work?
Yeah, pretty much. We finished up, and there was a starter over on the first hole of Seaside, this first hole of Seaside is right beside the ninth green of Plantation, and he didn't know what happened. He was like, "Man, that's so cool! You guys made it too." And one of the other guys in the group was like, "Yeah, it was for 59." And the guy didn't know what to think. He was like, "Wait, so was that your front nine?" Because he was on the other course. He didn't realize he started on 10. Um, but no, we went in, signed the card, and everyone started talking about it. Everyone started finding out, and so I kind of like needed a breather almost. So we just went to a restaurant on the island and sat down, and we were like, all right, so I guess this is going viral. I don't know how it's going to go viral, but if one of you
Yeah.
guys want to post the video, and they're like, yeah, we already posted it. I'm like, all right, well, that's good. So Monday Q Info already knows.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just went from there. And I was like, I guess I'm going to post an Instagram about it because it's pretty freaking cool. And yeah, it went viral. I didn't really celebrate it. I was just kind of my heart rate was just through the roof. If I had had an alcoholic beverage, it probably would have had a heart attack.
I was gonna say, what was the beer or cocktail of choice? You didn't do anything like that?
I don't think I had a
Yeah,
single
just any
beer or
water.
cocktail after. If it was a hole in one, obviously, but it's so
Yeah.
weird shooting 59. We didn't know what to do. A couple of my friends that were playing, they had to get on the road because they were going to events that afternoon. So 2 guys left, and the other two, I don't even know what I did the rest of the day. I think I sat on my couch and just like was looking at notifications I was getting on my phone from Twitter. Because I mean, it ended up getting on Yahoo
Yeah.
Sports, NBC Sports, Golf Channel. Um, it was just a lot to deal with, and I was like, I'm just gonna soak it all in and just watch this from my couch.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
What was the course record before?
I had the course record before actually, with
Jeez,
a
dude.
62, 10 under previously, and I beat it by 3.
And so I'm assuming all these you're playing from the tips. You're backing it up, right?
Yeah, the only exception is the 10th hole in the RSM. They play it from the practice putting from the like putting course, and we're not allowed to play it from there when we go play. So I was a box up on that one, but otherwise, yeah, it was from the tips. But definitely helps. I don't get to play it much in the summer because I'm busy playing the tour, and in the past, not last summer I was working, but the summers before I'd always be playing somewhere. So you don't get the chance to play the courses in the summer, and they play a little bit easier because the ball goes further. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's sick. That's so cool. Really cool video, and congrats to you for that. I'm sure a lot of those Seattle Mafia pros are like itching to take down Ben Griffin's course record, but that's 59 is
Yeah,
going to be really tough to beat, dude. That's going to hold up for a long time, I bet.
yeah. Grayson Siggs got 58 over on Seaside, so I don't know if
Does he?
yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to touch that anytime soon. But
Jeez,
yeah,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
and Mafia taking over the course records there. We'll see what happens in the RSM if anyone can get close.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope you guys would have the course records out there, but man, I didn't know Grayson had a 68. He's an Augusta boy like me. and Pat.
Yeah, bunch of Augusta guys.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome, dude. Ben, I appreciate your time. This has been
Mhm.
pretty fun. You seem like a real promising star on the PGA Tour in the making. Obviously, you're proving it, man. I mean, could have won the damn Wyndham. You could have been the
Yeah.
Tom. We could have been talking about you and not Tom Kim. But
I
I
was
got a
low
feeling.
American, I think.
What's that?
I think I was low American, if that
Low
means anything.
American? Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember looking at the board like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Um, I will say this though. I will give you this. I will give you one piece of advice. Okay. And it can't be golf advice because there's no way I could do that. But have you had any interactions with Siwoo Kim before?
No.
Here's your piece of advice.
All right, let's
Find a
hear it.
way to make memories with Siwoo Kim. Okay, make it happen. Ask a couple of Sea Island Mafia guys any interactions with Siwoo. He's a straight up, he's a god out there. Okay, he's a god amongst men, and I promise you, you will not regret, sitting down at his table for breakfast if you run into him, or playing a practice round with him. If you're paired up with him, pay attention. He's electric. Okay, so just remember that. File that away. And whenever you see Siwoo for the first time, which I don't know when that'll be this fall, he just made the President's Cup, so I don't know if he'll be playing a whole lot before or immediately after. But first time you see Siwoo, just go out of your way, okay?
Oh,
And then
well,
and then report back, and you'll be like, dude, I want him to be my best friend. Okay?
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'll probably find him at Napa if he's there.
Yeah, get some. I guarantee you, you ask some of the Sea Island Mafia crew, you got any Siwoo Kim stories, they'll deliver, and
I
you
know,
will love
I know Danny Lee's got some stories. I've heard some crazy Danny Lee stories, but
I've not heard
super
any about D. Lee. I've not heard any
yeah.
about D. Lee, but Siwoo, he will not disappoint. All right, almost forgot. We got to get the two truths and a lie. So hit me.
Two truths and a lie. All
Mhm.
right. I missed my last college final.
Okay.
I was in the I was in a show choir growing up, dancing and singing on stages.
Okay.
I fell into the water with my caddy also at the 2019 Puerto Rico Open.
um. Hmm. I feel like the show choir thing has to be true because I would be surprised if you made that up and you're the music guy. So I feel like that would be true. Fell into the water at Puerto Rico. I don't remember seeing anything about that. I feel like I would have seen that. Um. And what was the first one?
I missed my last college
Miss
final.
Miss college final, like final exam.
Final exam.
Hmm. I'm gonna say the lie is Puerto Rico.
Nope.
The lie is
Me
the
and
college?
what's that?
The lie is the college?
The lie is the college final. Yep, I did not miss my last college final.
I wouldn't think so. You see like
But
a
but the story there's some good stories behind some of these.
what
Um,
tell him.
so last college final, I made it, but one of my roommates thought the college final. This is his last final in college. Like literally, he's like a 3.98 student and double majoring in math and mathematical sciences and statistics. He thought it was at 12 p.m. or at noon. Shows up at noon. It was at 8 a.m. And the professor, like, he walks into the classroom, not a soul, and he's like, "Well, what's going on?" He gets on his phone and realizes it was 8 a.m. Emails the professor and walks back. So he leaves the house at like 11:50 to go walk, and he comes back in at 12:10. And we're like, "Damn, that was a fast final." He's
Yeah.
like, "Throw me a beer." And I'm like, "All right, tell us." He's like, "My college career is done. I missed my last final."
My god.
He's like, he's going to work for Ernst and Young, like tech consulting. Like he already had his job, thankfully, but like
Yeah.
this is last college final, and this is like potentially he doesn't get his diploma because of this. And he had already had like a 98 in the class, and this was like one of the hardest math classes. And the professor emails him back like, "Hey, like, yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to allow you to take this final again, so I'm going to have to give you a B minus. But at least that's better than you not being able to graduate." So
Yeah. Yeah.
he did get to graduate, but yeah,
Oh my
he
god.
missed the last college final. Now Puerto Rico, I'm 1 under through 4 holes. My second PGA Tour event started on 10. And my caddy is Eric Larson. I'm sure you've heard about him. Harris English's caddy. Used to caddy for Anthony Kim, Jeff
Yep.
Overton. He was in
Yep.
prison at one point in his career, his life. He's on the bag for me. I pull it on this dogleg left par 4. You said you played it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just played a
So
couple weeks ago.
so 13
Yep.
is the dogleg left, and there's like a little island with a tree in the left pond.
Yeah.
I hit it, my golf ball, onto that island.
No
So,
way.
it's playable. And there's this like little walking path to get to it, but you have to jump over rocks to get to it. And so the second rock is completely slick. We have no idea. I ask Eric, I'm like, all right, well, it looks like it's like 140. Just give me like a 9 iron. I'm just going to put it on the middle of the green. I take my second step. I'm wearing white pants and I completely eat shit. My knees are busted because my knees hit the rocks and I'm like in the middle of the pond. It's like I'm completely soaked from waist down.
Oh my God.
But instead of crawling back to the bag to get a towel, I crawl to the island because I'm like, all right, well, at least I'm
Yeah.
on the island so I can play the
Yeah.
shot. But I get over to it. I'm like, I don't think it's a 9 iron. I need like an 8 because of my stance and like my backswing. So Eric, he weighs like 260 pounds. And I'm like, all right, just throw me the club because that second rock is slick. He's like,
Oh my
dude,
God.
no. He's like, dude, the rock's not slick. I promise you. Like, it's going to be fine. Like, I weigh too much for me to fall on this. Steps on the second rock, eats shit, goes in the pond.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
he's carrying an extra glove because my glove was soaked because it was under the water. An extra towel, it's completely soaked. And so and then my club soaked. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'm not going to hit an 8 iron. I'm going to go back to this 9 iron because the 9 iron is the one that's not wet.
He took the
And
whole
so
bag? Why would he not leave the bag and then just grab the 8 iron?
he did leave the bag. So the
Oh.
bag, he has the 8 iron in his hand and a fresh glove and a towel. All
Oh.
those go down in the water. So now I'm
Oh.
like, now I'm like, all right, glove somehow, and I'm gonna hit the 9 iron. So we end up spending like 10 minutes. The group I'm playing with, I think it was Sebastian Munoz and Jonathan Kay of all people.
Whatever that
And
is.
we end up spending like 10 minutes trying to, figure out how to get dry, how to do everything. And they've already finished the hole. There's one camera, and I guess there's footage somewhere out there, but I don't know where
Yeah.
it went. I never got it. But there was a camera that was over the green that should have been rolling. That should have seen us. And I end up hitting the shot, and I was 1 under. I end up making bogey there. I hit it just over the green. Don't get up and down. Make like triple on the next hole. Bogey. All of a sudden, I'm like 5 over through 8 in my second PGA Tour. I'm like, well, I've got my back against the wall. Shoot 3 or 4 under on the next 9, and then shoot 4 under the second round. Make the cut on the number. But if I
Sick.
hadn't fallen in the water, I probably would have finished like 10th that week. But I was just all rattled and I was like shaking, and I played the next 4 holes like 5
Dude,
over.
that's a hilarious story. God, I wish there was video on that.
I know the video would have been amazing, but we took a picture after the round, and so I'm still in my white pants. I never changed clothes the rest of the round, but I just have 2 red spots on my knees from just blood because my knees were both busted.
Oh
So
my God.
blood spots on my white pants, and I'm like soaked the rest of the round.
Like
And
like you've
finished
been
the
to
round.
war.
Yeah, I went to war that round. The PGA Tour is
You got
hard.
you gotta
It's
send me that.
there's no guaranteed money. You got to go out there and earn it. So
Yeah, that's true. You gotta send me that picture because
yeah,
I'll put that in the YouTube thumbnail. That'll be tremendous.
yeah. So pretty crazy story. But yeah,
And
I'll find.
and you were basically you were part of Glee too, huh?
Yeah, when I was in elementary school, I was in this show choir. I wore this huge white and like red sparkly thing, and I would sing choir songs with like 20 other people and dance to them and do ridiculous things.
So it's only elementary school. So you were like prepubescent Glee.
Yeah, this was like 4th and 5th grade. I don't know if there was a girl or something that I was on the show choir. I was like, I gotta go do it, or what it was. But yeah, I had issues back then. We don't have to talk about that.
That's hilarious. Send a picture of that too. If you have your mom send us a picture of you in
Oh
that
God,
outfit, that'd be great.
yeah, I've got one. I've got one.
Dude, that's tremendous. I cannot believe you fell in the water like that. Now I'm trying to
Yes.
remember those rocks. I know the hole you're talking about. I don't remember ever seeing those rocks.
There's like 3 rocks that take you to this island. It's like 5 yards left of the rough line. So it's like it was going in the water, my tee shot, but somehow it just landed on the island. And sure enough, yeah, that's
That's
Bryson
funny.
Nimmer. Bryson Nimmer was
Yeah.
my roommate. He had Eric Larson caddy for him at the Puerto Rico Open this past year, and they sent a picture of both of them with right next to the island.
Yeah.
It's called Ben's Island.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ben's on.
but no, that was the first round. So the second round, my parents were there. She goes to a gift shop and buys scuba gear, like goggles and like a whatever oxygen hole. And I put it in my golf bag. And while we're walking by that, I pull it out of the bag when Eric's not paying attention, put it on, and I'm like, "Hey, Eric, look at me with my scuba gear on. Take a picture." He's like, "Oh my god, you're fucking ridiculous." Or fucking ridiculous. I don't know if you're recording that,
It
but
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's
um,
that's
but yeah,
awesome.
no, it was a crazy story and crazy week, but fun memories with Eric Larson. He'll probably tell you that's the funniest thing that's ever happened.
It's gotta
Is golf.
be. It's gotta be the funniest thing. Um, that's
Just two
awesome, dude.
guys swimming in Playa, whatever it's called. But
I think it's the Rio Grande
yeah,
Reserve.
yeah, we were fully in the Rio, both of
That's
us.